Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. And my name is Ravi Pitawala. I'm a pre-sales consultant for Okta at Redington. And today's webinar is about to give you the introduction about the Okta product. Mainly, we'll focus on the single sign-on and multi-factor authentication. And on top of that, I will give you a small demo of the VPN integration with one of the firewall that we have, and how we can integrate Okta in the firewall as a second factor of authentication. So first I will just give you the Okta overview of the different product, and then we'll at the end of the presentation we'll have a small demo. So Okta Identity Cloud has many different properties that make it unique. First, it was born and built in the cloud. From the day the company was started, first line of code that was written, it it was written to keep in the mind that Okta is a cloud-based service. That means you just can't take some of the on-premise piece of identity management software, put it into the cloud, and get what Okta's built. For example, you can't put Active Directory in the cloud and get Okta, what is Okta is offering. That the fundamental aspect of being born and built in the cloud enable the other aspect of the Okta Identity Cloud. Second, we connect to everything. Technology is changing faster than ever before. What your user need is different today than it was yesterday, and only chance you have to be successful is if you connect everything. That means any application or the anything that they want to use. So Okta also is neutral. We are independent. It's unbiased. We want to connect our customer to the technology they want. We are not trying to connect them to a stake. For example, some of the vendor want you to use Office 365, OneDrive, Dynamics CRM, and so on. They don't want you to use the Google application or a box or the Salesforce. Okta wants you to use whatever technology going to make you successful. So we connect everything. And by connecting to everything, we preserve the choice that is fundamental for any customer. And that choice is just not today, but that choice is in the future as well. And for example, what was popular yesterday, it is not going to be remain same today or tomorrow. The increasing rate of change in enterprise software means the tool that user need are changing faster than ever before. You need to have a future-proof solution, and Okta is a future-proof solution as well. So you will be able to connect to any new technology that will be there for the authentication as well. And if you are going to do what Okta does, manage the millions of identity of the some of the leading companies around the world, you have to be 100% secure, and we are. Then lastly, we have to be always on, because we are on the front door of every employee's access to the tool that they need to do their work, everyday work. We are in between the customers, company and their customer. We are in the revenue system as well. So we have to be more reliable than anything we connect to, and we are that as well. And talking about the customers, so these are the some of the customer that is we have more than 4,700, and we are managing more than approximately around 2 billion of identity and 48 millions of authentication per day. In that, 6 million unique visitor. So millions of, and there are some of the data center that is coming up in Sydney. It is already been there, and we have the data center in Europe and USA as well. So for EMEA region, we can use the Europe data center for the authentication purpose. And as you can see, the millions of authentication that is there. So millions of people use Okta every day on any device that they have to access to the application and the data that they need to do their work, which is most important, or maybe to connect to the company's product and services from anywhere around the world. Maybe it's a remote user. And As you can see here, these are some of the largest customers that are using Okta. You can see that there's a 20th Fox Century, Dish is there, LinkedIn, sorry, Twitter is there, MGM Resort, and if you see, these are the numbers that is in thousands. So this many of the users are there who is actually using Okta for the authentication purpose. So not only that, again, these are some of the customers that we have, and you can see that authentication page on each of the customer, for example, and when you provide the username and password, and you will be in to access any application for the single sign-on purpose. And it's not only available from the laptop, but it is available from the mobile application as well. So we have the application by which you can use all of your application from the mobile or tablet as well. And this is what you will get once you log in into the Okta Single Sign-On Okta login page. You will have all your applications. You just need to click any of the application and you will be able to work for that application. You don't need to provide username and password. That's how easy it is. So the question is, why do millions of people use Okta every day? So one of the main reason is because the cybersecurity. It has evolved from uh, vandalism to theft to war. If every company, and these are some of the numbers that we have gathered during our research, and if every company is becoming a technology company, that also means every company can be breached. Cyber criminal, if we talk about today, they are highly organized and they use a different script, a bot, or the different sophisticated technique, for example credential stuffing, and that's the how they are advancing. And you don't have to look far to see the impact that it is having on the business. If you are following any security journal or magazine, you will get a notification every day that this many of the company has been breached, and these are some of the number that is there. And what we have find out that 88% of the breaches that cause it was because of the weak credential, or maybe the credential that has been already stolen. So this is the main reason why you need a strong authentication method, and all the customer that is using the Okta today are more secure than ever before. So I'll just give you some of the case study that I have added here for, because this is one of the most popular company around the world. It's a technology company, if there ever was one. Is the again one of the sixth largest software company in the world. So they were transforming themselves from making a product that you download and install into a laptop like Photoshop, Illustrator, to products that you now access through the web browser. So what was a creative suite is now a creative cloud. And Adobe customers, all the enterprise customer access creative cloud using Okta technology built directly into their product. They use our APIs and our authentication technology to give their customer a better but most important is more secure access experience for the creative cloud. And you can see here, this is the login page, but Okta is the one who is actually working in the backend to provide the authentication. And second is MGM Resort is another example. They, if you are aware about the Las Vegas, they own half of the Las Vegas Strip. Is just not the properties like MGM Grand. It's also a different properties like a Bellagio, a Treasure Island, and many more. And each of their properties are unique, but MGM has one identity for their customer loyalty program called M Life. Okta both secure and manage all the identity for the millions of that different customers that are using their program. So MGM gets a secure experience for their customers, but they also get ability to see what their customer want, and then as a result can give them a better user experience. And also each of the different hotel, they had the different identity stake before the Okta. After moving to the Okta, they have the one identity solution where all the user identity is stored, and Okta become the source of truth for all of their customer. Lastly, I will like to talk about the 20th Century Fox. You might be even aware about it. They make most iconic movie and the TV shows. And historically, when this they created a new movie, they had to create a IT infrastructures that was in a place just while that movie was being created. So they put on-premise Exchange, on-premise Active Directory or LDAP, and then tear it all apart when the movie was done. Then they had the vision to go digital. They turn to the cloud to make that easier and more streamlined. So today, 20th Century Fox has gone completely digital. They connect 200 organizations virtually using cloud application like Box to collaborate in the production of some of their favorite movies like Martian and so on. Okta is the identity layer that connects all of their organization to their cloud application simply and securely. And when we look at this, all the case study, we see a pattern. We see Okta as the foundation for secure connection between people and technology. It's employee accessing their application, not just their cloud-based application, but their on-prem application as well, or their mobile application as well. It's their remote worker using mobile devices, either device that they bought themselves or maybe a device that company provided to them. In maybe some of the company they provide devices to work. It's partner connecting to the portal to get more information to help them interact with their partner companies, and it's customer connecting directly to the products. Okta can securely connect anyone with anything. And Okta Identity Cloud is comprised of the multiple product. So these are the product that I have included here. We have much more product, but as an introduction of the to the new partners, I have added the product so that you can focus on this product. Uh, Okta Single Sign-On, I will discuss in the detail about that. Then we have the multi-factor authentication, universal directory, lifecycle management, developer SDK, API access management, and so these are the products that we have, and we are going to, I will discuss about the single sign-on and the adaptive MFA. So before we go for that, let's look at some of the critical problem that Okta is solving. So for example, when you move to the cloud or you go to the digital, there are different challenges. Maybe it's related to IT or maybe it's related to security. For example, you might require a user might send a manual password reset request, and when that kind of thing happen, you the security perspective, there is a challenge that more password reuse that can happen. So these are some of the challenges that is there. And if you go again, if you talk about the accelerate the adoption of the cloud, you have the security challenges of exposure and the phishing attack, that because your data is public and it is available, so you don't have that much of visibility. Then onboarding and offboarding doesn't scale. uh, but if you uh, take an example of the employee who's joined the company today, maybe he gone on to the different level, and once he resigned, there is no way that you can identify whether his account is still there into the organization. Also that those account is called as orphan accounts, which can expose the data. If you have the IT challenges like enable access from anywhere, then you have the security challenges of the zero trust, that who can access the data, giving the access to contractor and the partners. Then related to that, external access is again a risky that can easily breach your network. And if you have the hybrid IT model, then you need to have the unified security controls. So these are the some of the IT challenges, and with that you have the security challenges. So what Okta does is Okta solve all of their problem. For example, single sign-on, it will reduce 75% reduction in a help desk password reset or lost URL. Then we have the integration network. We have the largest application integration network and of the application, and we have the multi-factor authentication to protect against the phishing attack. So it will improve 50% in user productivity from faster application adoption and access to their current application. Then lifecycle management, it will automatically onboard and offboard the user, which will reduce approx 50% audit compliance costs for documenting this lifecycle management workflow. Then we have the identity driven security. That means you can create a different policy. You have the granular control into that. That will reduce 75% probability of the security breach, which is most important. Universal directory for giving access to the partner and contractor. Of course, you don't want to create a user external user data into your own domain, maybe it's Active Directory, LDAP, or anything else. So in that scenario, universal directory will help you, and it will reduce 100% reduction in connector maintenance of the IT admin. And lastly, a unified identity. If you are going for the hybrid IT model, it will reduce 80% into IT admin time spent administrating user groups, policies, application, and devices in a separate environment. So these are some of the IT challenges which brings the security challenges as well, and how Okta product can help into that specific challenges. This is the Gartner report. So Okta again leads the Gartner, and not only leads the Gartner, it's the category creator into this segment. Okta created a new type of product. Now Gartner call a portion of what we do identity as a service, or IDaaS. In that category, we are not only a company to have like Magic Quadrant for a single year, but all the 3 years from when it was started, Okta was only company that have been in the leader quadrant for every single time. So these are the report from 2014 to 16, and now last year that report came. You can see that they actually retired the IDaaS Magic Quadrant in favor of one holistic access management Magic Quadrant that span both cloud and on-prem delivery. And we, while the landscape look little bit different, Okta is once again the leader. We are only leader that is born and built in the cloud, while all other thinking through how they adapt their legacy model to the cloud. And if you ask Gartner, they will tell you we are the leader for few reasons as well. Now, this is about the Okta. Now we are going to discuss in detail, give you the brief introduction of the single sign-on. So when we talk about the single sign-on, this is what we do. So whenever user think of Okta, they think of as one of the top 5 application that they use every day. You can think of the application that you want to use every day. And Okta Single Sign-On belongs to that category. And this is to help the employee or the customer, which make the task very easy, that day-to-day task very easy, and it gives you the access to the application which they want to work very easily without any other stuff. So Okta SSO is integrated to everything and focus on complete user experience, because single sign-on help reduce help desk call and delight their end user by removing the frustration of managing multiple username and password. You can see on the screen here, for example, this is one of the customer that has configured the single sign-on. Once user logged in, they have access to all their application. Even you have the different tab. I just need to click on any of the app and you will be able to open all the stuff over for that specific application. It's that easy. So it integrate into everything and focus on complete user experience and reduce the help desk call. But Okta is also broader and more comprehensive than just a web portal. Our SSO product is built on top four core pillars: integrated access management, customizable user experience, security-driven, security, secure directory with integration, and lastly, real-time security reporting. I will dive deeper into each of this pillar. So first, let's look at the integrated access management. As I mentioned earlier, how do we enable authorization access to all of our application? There are three components to this. The first one is the Okta application network. It is the largest and most reliable app network with over 6,500 pre-integrated application for the SSO and more than around 7,000 SAML integration. And we have zero backlog in the integration. This means that we support any application your customer would need, whether today or in the future, as they continue to grow and scale. Ultimately, a complete SSO solution must integrate with every single one of the application that the customer use, not just the popular ones. In case, and again, these are the pre-integrated app. We have around more than 200k application which has been integrated by different customers. In case any integration doesn't yet exist, Okta supports wide range of integration to enable access through our SSO. This might happen because your customer has a custom or a homegrown application, or they might have the legacy on-prem app behind the firewall like Oracle or SAP. Okta's secure web authentication, or the SWA you can call, is a proprietary authentication method for form-based login. And most of the application, they will have the form-based login, if not the authentication method like SAML, which is most important and widespread web-based federation protocol today. Then WS Fed and WS Trust are protocol pushed by MSFT through, even they are adopting SAML more and more. Then OpenID Connect and OAuth are modern mobile friendly federation standard. We again, we are expecting that OpenID Connect to be the next SAML, which is again right now it's most popular. A quick note here is OAuth integration requires our API access management product, which is a separate product and SKU from the single sign-on. So that's just a quick note. And to support a legacy on-prem app, we can authenticate through Radius or through our network gateway partners like F5, Citrix, and Palo Alto. A key aspect how we do SSO is our flexible policy engine. Now, this is the engine that allows administrator to be very specific with how they manage authorization to resources and enforce the right level of security. For example, you can see on the right side, we can also you can configure the different policy based on the group, OU, or what application they are using, from where they are trying to log in, maybe specific within the organization network or from outside, and even what kind of browser they are using, if it's a browser or application. And then you can allow access, deny access, you can ask for the multi-factor authentication, or you can also integrate a third-party MFA such as RSA or DO. So instead of immediately denying access, you can ask for the additional factor of authentication as well. So this is the first pillar that we discussed. The second one is the customizable user experience, consumer grade user experience. This ties all backend control and access to the application that we just talk about and translate it into a simple, clean user interface that is fully customizable and device specific. This starts with our web portal, of course, now that we all know. User can edit their portal layout with simple drag and drop feature. You can drag and drop and change the application uh, number wherever you want. User can easily self-service by using a self-service, adding app through the web portal or through our cross-platform browser plugin. So we have the plugin as well, which you can see on the right side. This is the plugin, and this is great plugin that can automatically detect and add new app the first time you visit them, and even it will ask you that you want to use this Okta to log into this application. This easy user experience is all duplicated on mobile, as I discussed earlier, through our mobile app, which is fully featured a native iOS and Android app that provide SSO to all your mobiles. This allows user to access all their apps even on the go. And we also have out of box and API customization option, so company can create a login environment that matches their brand. So here one of again the example, they have customized their login page for user. This is our consumer grade portal, means focusing on getting the app they need when they need it. For IT department, this means faster application adoption and faster realize the ROI for new app. Now moving to the third pillar, which is a secure directory with the integration. We have so far been talking about authorization and access side of the equation, but I'll also discuss about the authentication side of the equation. Basically, how do we verify a user? So customer will usually have their user stored in a directory that act as a source of truth for all user credential. Now, Okta integrate with these directories in order to verify a user. The most common directory that we integrate with is a Active Directory. There are some cases where LDAP is also there, but not as common. Either way, Okta integrate to both through a lightweight Okta agent. You can see here the Okta Active Directory agent, which you can install it on the customer premise to verify user identity and then authorize application access. It will sit behind the firewall. This means there is no additional hardware deployment and no changes to the firewall is required because it works on port 443, which is mostly open in all organizations. This is a big deal as some of the competitor SSO solution, especially the legacy one, can take weeks, if not months, to properly set up. We also support multi-domain and the forest. You might see this in a company which they have the several division or geographical location, perhaps the result of the merger and acquisition. And for customer who don't have the LDAP or the Active Directory in place and want to get off of their on-premise directory, Okta Universal Directory product can act as a secure directory as well as becoming a source of truth for all the user profile and credential which is on the cloud. Even if customer have AD and LDAP, they might not want to put outside partner or temporary contractor or customer information in their on-prem directory like AD. Instead, this user can put all this information our universal directory on the cloud. While Okta still master of an AD LDAP server for internal user. This really differentiates us in that some competitor can't act as a directory and rely on the connection back to an on-prem directory like Active Directory. With Universal Directory, Okta also adds the ability for end user to reset or change their ADLDAP password via Okta. So they don't have to come to the admin and ask to change the password. And with lifecycle management, we add the ability for Okta to provision AD and LDAP as downstream system. So with lifecycle management, you can deprovision the user or the provision the user as well. Both great point of a differentiation. Note that both Universal Directory and Okta Lifecycle Management are again a separate product. It is not part of the SSO. And finally, we can integrate with third-party identity provider. And this is usually a case with the customer who have legacy on-premises solutions such as Ping, a SiteMinder. And lastly, the fourth pillar, which is a final pillar of, is our real-time security reporting. Okta records the whole host of rich data on all aspects of your user behavior. The who, when, where, IP address, where IP addresses, device type, browser type, app access, all the information you will get. We can literally tell you the geographical latitude and longitude coordinates of the user at a time of their login. Even I will show you this in the demo when we have the two-factor authentication. So we have the info of somebody who's been logging into the San Francisco, for example, or maybe a London, then suddenly logs in, let's say, Australia. And again, by this log report, you can create a policy as well. So and fine tune as well that it's not going to be possible for one user to come from one country to a geographically located country which is very far located geographically, and you can create a policy based on the speed as well. So and again, this is all reported in real time, which is important and something some of our competitor can't do. What's also important with large enterprises, they often have to plug this data into bigger data analytics system to look at all security information that's happening in the enterprises. Okta makes our rich data available to third-party SIM solution. We are pre-integrated with two of the biggest and most popular tool, which is out there like Splunk and ArcSight, and you can easily access and download the entire Okta system log via CSV file or through the Okta API. So this is about the single sign-on. Now, adaptive MFA, we will quickly I will quickly discuss about the adaptive MFA. Why do we need adaptive MFA, and what are the characteristics that we have for the adaptive MFA? And then we will move to the demo. So MFA is a starting point to the modern security strategy. I have already discussed in one of the previous slide there where multi-factor authentication will help you to provide a protection. In fact, the new borderless network, MFA and identity are the building block. And this strategy includes the strong authentication with MFA, then centralized identity for ease of management and elimination of the passwords when possible, reducing risk through proper user lifecycle management, which reduce the attack surface area available to the threat actor, and providing a data towards the for the security visibility and enabling the security team to respond in the event of the compromise. So these are some of the factor characteristics that we can use in Okta. You can use the security questions. So this is a baseline at low cost. Then you have the, of course, password, which is provide baseline security at a low cost. It's easy to use and deploy. User are familiar with this process. Then you can, of course, go for the SMS, voice, and email, which can be which is available in the Okta. Then we have the software ATP. We have our own application as well. So in OTP, you don't require phone internet on the phone. You just have the application which you need to install on the mobile. And OTP push, which is again a very user friendly, in which you don't have to provide the 6-digit or 4-digit code. You just have to click on the notification whether you have logged in or not. This is a demo which I will show you. And on top of that, you can use, of course, physical token and biometric token. Sorry, physical token and the biometric or Windows Hello and iOS face recognition. So these are some of the method or the characteristic of the second factor of authentication. And this is Okta Verify OTP applications, or Okta Verify application, which is available for the Android and the iOS user. So you can see that this is a 6-digit code and this is the Okta Verify push. So here you can see, if you enable Okta Verify push, which is available with the single sign-on, you don't have to provide the 6-digit code every time, and this reduces the false positive from the user side. You just click on the approve button and you will be able to log in into the application. And of course SMS is there, then the voice authentication as a second factor is also available. On top of that, you can integrate third party MFA solution like a Google Authenticator is there, UbiQ is there, DO, RSA, all of this factor which is there you can use in Okta. And by doing this, we offer the granular control, and it also gives the flexible policy through strong authentication method, which will reduce the burden on the end user and increase the adoption and the use of the second factor of authentication, thereby improving the overall security of the organization. And when we talk about the simplicity and the usability, we also don't want to forget IT and the admin who are in charge of deploying and managing the solution. And keeping in that mind, one of the initial criteria is that the MFA solution must still be conducive to normal business operation. That means MFA must be capable of integrating with the apps and service organization are already using, and be flexible enough to support custom scenario. Better yet, this is accomplished without creating additional work for IT and provide quick time to value. And on top of that, we can integrate with the VPN. 700 plus VPN and SAML integration is available into the Okta itself. So this is about the MFA. And now if you have any question, you can put it into the question and answer chat window. Then after that, we will go to the demo. Okay, we have few answer questions. What is single sign-on reliability? No. Who is Fayaz? No, we don't have the patch management in the Okta. And Ahmad asked, what is single sign-on reliability? Ahmad, can you be specific? What is your question? Okay, for that I will share the link with you that the Okta is following all the compliance, and you can go to the website and check all the certificate that Okta has. It follows all the government norms. I will just give you the link. Just go there and check it for yourself. It has all the information available. Okay, so in the meantime, I will now start the demo, which I will show you. Okay. So I hope everyone can see the screen. So this is the website Fayaz, you can go and check all the compliance and the security and the system status. This is up-to-date information minute by minute of the Okta data center, whether there was any issue or not. So this is my Okta portal where I will log in. I have already logged in, and this is the admin GUI where I have configured the Active Directory already. So you will see here the directory integration. So this is the Active Directory which I have already integrated into the Okta through the agent. So if I click here, it will show me all the information that how many users I can assign, what is the agent. So agent we have already installed onto the Active Directory. It's not necessary to install the agent on the server itself. Again, it's not recommended. Even you can install it anywhere behind the firewall. It should be able to communicate with the Active Directory. So where does this server is installed? Here I can see this is okay. I'm not able to access it. So before we go, I will just give you the information. So this is we are going to integrate the Okta into the FortiGate VPN. So we have the SSL VPN. You can do the IPsec as well. And I have installed the Active Directory agent to federate all the username and password to Okta from Active Directory, and I have the Radius agent. So when user try to log in into the SSL VPN, it will communicate to the Radius agent. So FortiGate will act as a client, as a Radius client, and the Okta Radius agent will act as a Radius server. And this server will communicate to the cloud that give me the user information. And in that, Okta will communicate with the agent about that user information. So again, we have the option to sync the password with the Okta. And if you don't want to sync the password, then you can keep it disabled. So every time user try to log in, Okta will verify it. If you sync the password, we will store the password here for the 7 days, and then you can sync it. And once they get the response, it will allow the user to log in. So this is my portal, SSO portal. VPN portal for the singles for the SSL authentication. So this is my username. Now I just forgot my username. Okta VPN at redoktavpn.com. Before I do that, I will also connect my mobile so that you will be able to see. Yeah. So when I try to do that, I will try to log in. And here it is asking enter the passcode or select option 1 to continue, 0 to abort. So of course, if you do click 0, it will abort. I'll click 1 to continue, and when I do that, you can see here it is asking me whether you try to log in, and you see this is unknown information. So there is no information from where I try to log in, and if I select yes, it's me, it should be logged in automatically here. So here you can see now it has logged in. Same thing I can do it for the client as well. It's not only browser based, I can do it for the client as well. So when I try to log in again, it will ask me whether I want to continue or not. So I will select yes to push. Here again I got a notification, yes, it's me. So it should connect to the SSL tunnel through VPN and able to give me the access. Let's say it's 98%. Yeah, we are good to go. Now this is my Active Directory server where I have installed the agent. So you can see this is the Active Directory agent and this is the Radius agent. You just need to give the shared secret and the Radius port, and it will communicate to the Okta. You need to give the API endpoint information of the cloud, which you try to when you try to log in through the admin. And this is the Active Directory agent information. You just need to provide the account information which has the admin right, and that's it, domain. So you can see this agent is running. If it's not able to communicate, it will show agent is not running. And this is where we have all the information into the Active Directory. So this is the Active Directory username and password. You can see we have Okta VPN user here, which we use to integrate into the SSL VPN. And we to talk about FortiGate, you just have to integrate for the as a radius server, Okta as a radius server. That's it. That's simple it is. Don't need to do anything. Let's see if you have any questions. Okay, Faraz. Okay. Oh, so you okay? I will show it again. Okay. So I will show you the diagram. So you will get the flow. This is same for every all the vendor as well. So when user gets the login screen, whether it's through a browser or whether it's through a client, VPN client, if it's FortiGate, Palo Alto, anything, we have the Okta Radius installed, and it will communicate to the Okta Cloud for the user identity. And here you will have to configure this agent as a Radius server. And then when the Okta Cloud gets this username and password information that user tries to log in, so what it will do, it will communicate to the Active Directory via Okta Directory agent, which is in sync for the username and password. Now you have two options. You can either sync the password to the Okta Cloud, which can store for 7 days, or you can keep disable that option so that every time user try to log in, we will go and check to the Active Directory. And once we have the username and password information is correct, then it will throw for the second factor of authentication, and then it will ask for the username and password. Sorry, second factor of authentication, and then user will be able to communicate. So it's pretty straightforward. You just need to install two agent, and that is what we have discussed here. Again, I will show you. So this is the VPN information. I will show you what is. So these are the remote gateway IP and so on, and this is what we need to provide username and password. So again, I will just show you on my mobile. When I try to log in, I just need to click 1 to continue. So when I do that, it will come a push notification here. You can see it did just try to log in. I select yes. Once I allow, then it will automatically log me into the FortiGate SSL VPN client. And same thing you can check. You can see it's now connected into the logs as well. Here you can go and check the system logs. So here you will see this VPN Okta authentication via MFA has been successful. And on top of that, you can get all the information of the client here as well. Geographical context, what is the location? The city is Dubai, United Arab Emirates country. What is the geolocation? So even if you can go and check the latitude and longitude, even to give you the exact location. So for example, I will just, this is where again, this information is also available in the Okta itself, but I will show you here and well that it will show you the exact location where I'm located here right now. You can see it's almost nearly perfect location. And same thing, we can check it on the Okta here as well. All the information about it where he tried to log in. Here also you can see it is showing you the information of the user when he tried to log in. So almost near perfect location from where the user tried to log in. And another user, my current friend who is actually accessing the Okta for different reason is in right now in Sharjah. And you can see that events is too much. Is doing some testing for the specific application. So nearly perfect location you will get from the Okta based on the map as well. So I hope this is clear now. Let me know guys if you have any question. I'll be happy to answer it. Okay, I guess this is it. Rakesh, we can close the session now. There is no more question.